Okay, so working on this Autolite 1100, putting the float bowl together, and the first thing we need to do is put our check balls in, and this particular carburetor uses three, one here, one here, one here, and they're all the same size. Fortunately, there's a few that use 4 check balls and some that use 2. Just depends on which Autolite 1100 you have, but they all use the same size. So we'll put one in each hole, and the check balls are made of stainless steel, so they're very hard. And we want to seat them a little bit in their troughs and make sure it's they're going to seal. And what I do is I use a brass drift punch, make sure it's brass, and I will take and just kind of tap each one. I already did this, so just tap them a couple of times, make sure they're seated, don't get it too hard. When you're done, tip it back over, make sure that you didn't slam them so hard they got stuck in there. Okay, so there you go. Incidentally, if you're taking yours apart and one of them is stuck, you can't get it out by cleaning. You can try applying a little heat. That will turn it over, apply a little heat to the cylinder, and generally they will fall out that way. So like I say, they're stainless steel, so those, they don't actually get corroded as much as corrosion gets around them. So don't forget your check weight. It goes right here, and that check weight is to hold down the check ball so that when you're bringing fuel into the accelerator pump, in other words you let up on the gas, it keeps that check ball closed so that the carburetor air vacuum, so to speak, doesn't go in here and actually suck your gas back out. So that's what that's for. Now, if you lose it, you can't buy them new. Your next best bet is either find a used one or make one. They're aluminum. I have specifications on my website in the technical section on what it needs to be, and they shouldn't be too hard to make. Alright, so there you got those in there. We already got our top together. We already did a video part on that, and so we'll check it all out. Look around my parts table. Look at your drawing. Did I forget anything? Okay, so usually I do when I'm making a video. I've had them carburetors all the way back together and had to take them all apart again. Okay, so there we go. We'll put our top on there. And I'm going to put some new screws on there. We have, I don't know, we may have a premium kit for the 1100 probably, or a hardware kit. Sometimes we sell hardware kits. I don't know when you actually see this video. Who knows if it's available still? But anyway, we have new screws, so because we want our carburetor to look good. It is a classic car. At least I do when I do these things. I replace everything I can. I forgot to mention about a warped top or bottom on these things. You want to get a really good flat edge and put on your float bowl and around your top. You'll find your tops generally to be warped. Typically it's not a big deal, but if you do find that problem on yours, what you can do is make yourself a little jig, put it in a vise so that you've got this thing, if you're doing, say, just the body here, you got a really good flat surface here, and you got a really good flat surface on the top. You put a little bit of pressure on it with a vise, and you heat it. Not so much you melt it. You got to be careful. This thing, boy, you get just the right temperature, and it's gone because it's like pot metal. At any rate, you heat it, and that will straighten it out. And then you just leave it in the vise and let it cool off. I know other people have done things like made a jig for it, tightened it down, stuck it in the oven, and that would work too. But that's how you get them straight. You're just going to have to take the time to build yourself some kind of a jig out of metal to get some nice flat surfaces, and basically just squeezing it together and making it flat again. And the heat will cause the metal to, you know, move around, and you can actually excuse me, see it suck itself back up to the flat surface. Now, the way these things get warped is people don't know how to tighten a screw. They either think they have to tighten them until their hands are blistered, or they just don't do it. They do it out of sequence. So I get all my screws all kind of a little bit snug. And incidentally, this tightening procedure is on just about anything you work on your automotive, on your auto. With anything you use gaskets. So you start in the middle, and work your way out, crisscrossing. Okay. Get them about the same tightness. That's the proper way to tighten anything down with a gasket. Replacing your head gasket, that's what you do. You don't start from one corner and work your way out. Or work your way in, I should have said. And these, don't over tighten these. It just isn't necessary. If you really can fuel out of there, your float bowl gasket, it's either warped, or you may be just simply flooding too much fuel. Alright, so there we got the top. I didn't take the choke shaft apart. There wasn't any reason to. I got all cleaned up around in there. If you have to take it out, I think we may have new screws for these in the our hardware kit, but the screws are kind of hard to mess with. So as long as you're loose, you don't have a reason to take this out. But leave it alone. Just get it good and clean. Okay. You just want it free. It has to be real free. It can't stick anywhere. Same thing with your throttle. Okay, you can bush it if you need to, if it's loose up and down. And when I disassembled this, I made a remark about how this was loose. And to tighten it, you can either braze it, which I have to do a lot of times, or in this case, I just took a good drift punch, and I kind of just smashed this down some more, just hit it with a hammer. And that made it nice and tight, so that's okay, because this actually fits on a kind of a I want to say a flat spot to where it can't spin. It's okay. So all this is for is to hold it in. The other thing is, if you can't braze it, you can always drill and tap a hole and put a screw and washer on to hold it. I've actually done that on a few carburetors. So that's a couple ideas for you. It doesn't take a lot of pressure, it just needs to keep it held on there. Okay, so those two things are put together, and we're going to move on here in the next video here.